For cheap gold, items and other boosts for Diablo 4, visit aoeah.com. Check out the link in the description, you get 3% off with the code ARIAT. Hello and welcome everybody. In this video I show you my final Whirlwind Barbarian at level 100. He's already whirling crits over 1,000,000, although the gear can definitely still get better. Basically I developed the build according to my previous guides, however there are a few important details and changes. I completely rearranged the Paragon boards after analyzing exactly how to connect as efficiently as possible, while maximizing the damage. I finally found a way to take all the damage nodes that I wanted. Let's go! Most of the skill tree is the same as before. Lunging strike with 1 point plus enhancement, Furious Whirlwind for bleeding enemies, Tactical Rallying Cry and Tactical Iron Skin outskilled, 1 point in Tactical Challenging Shout, but optionally you could also outskill Challenging Shout and only put 1 in Iron Skin. Further, Imposing Presence and Martial Vigor get 3 points each. Then we have Power Warcry at level 1, and the passive skills Booming Voice, Guttural Yell and Swiftness at 3. Then the passive skills Pit Fighter and Slaying Strike 3 points each and Paralysis at 1, so we can also benefit from damage to slowed and crowd controlled enemies. Further we skill the superior Wrath of the Berserker and Heavy Handed. The central passive skill is Unbridled Rage. As you can see we have 7 active skills that we can choose from. In higher dungeons I leave out the ultimate and play with 3 shouts plus Iron Skin. On easy level I put away Iron Skin or Challenging Shout instead. One possibility would be to omit the Lunging Strike, but I'm not a fan of that. I also like to use it because of the mobility. Now for the Paragon system. This is where it gets a bit complicated. We use the boards Decimator, Blood Rage, Weapons Master, Flawless Technique and Warbinger, in exactly that order. Also the following glyphs: Imbibber because of the high damage multiplier, Exploit to make vulnerable, Seething because of the high damage bonus and fury generation. 5.3 is not much compared to other glyphs, but here you have to keep in mind that it scales on strength, and in the rare nodes we get 10 strength each. The territorial glyph is a must, lots of damage and 10% damage reduction. Wrath also increases damage and generates fury again. However, there are also 2 other good options. Blood Feeder gives damage to bleeding enemies and more crit chance, and if you want to use the shouts more often, you will like to take the Martial glyph. You could most likely remove Imbibber then, or one of the 2 fury generation glyphs maybe. But now to the boards. To take all the damage nodes, the Paragon points are few, so some defensive nodes are omitted. Optionally, you can also unlock all the armor and max life nodes that are accessible, and reduce the damage a little. I have put many points in attributes here to push the glyphs instead. In the starting board I've got the territorial glyph and the 2 damage nodes, along with all the dexterity nodes in reach. In the Decimator board I have the Imbibber glyph along with all the willpower nodes. The rare nodes are Pillage, Arrogance, Demolish, Brawn and Destroyer. For the magic nodes I focused on the offensive ones. Then as the third comes the board Blood Rage, connected to the right with the glyph Seething. Here I also got almost the maximum strength for the glyph. The rare nodes are Craving, Grit, Revel and Enraged. Here we also skill the legendary node. The fourth board leads further to the right. We take Weapon Master with the Glyph Wrath. Here again the maximum dexterity is skilled. In addition, Raw Power, Iron Strength and Brute. The fifth board goes to the left from the Decimator board. It is Flawless Technique. Here we only want the crit damage from Havoc. Finally, at the top of the Weapons Master board comes Warbringer with the Glyph Exploit and the rare node Raw Power. Now for the items and aspects. Very important is critical strike damage. Besides that, we use core skill damage, damage to close enemies and physical damage, plus damage to vulnerable, bleeding or slowed enemies. Damage with slashing weapons, swords and other affixes are also helpful. To maximize the critical strike damage, we place swords in the one-handed slots in any case, of course with some more useful damage affixes. The bludgeoning weapon is also used to push the affixes. We will use our slashing weapon for whirling, it should be a sword. The most important weapon aspects, the dire Whirlwind for challenging crit chance, so you will critically strike on almost every hit. More damage at full resources is also worth it. Other important aspects, the Grasping Whirlwind to pull monsters together, Disobedience for armor stacks, Limitless Rage for more damage on Fury Overload, Anemia gives a chance for stunts, Berserk Fury for Fury generation, Chieftains for lower cooldowns on shouts, and Iron Warrior for unstoppable and damage reduction on Iron Skin. Also I'm going to get the Iron Blood aspect on a good helmet as soon as I have one. On the helmet slot I would like to have % total armor, cooldown reduction, damage in berserk mode and maximum rage. For body armor I have two different ones, one offensive and one defensive. So here armor and damage or armor and damage reduction are super, or even a mix. With the gloves I am basically okay, even if attack speed instead of Hammer of the Ancients would probably be better. Also I have two different pants, optimal would be % armor and 3 times damage reduction. On the shoes, cost reduction and running speed are nice. Further, I'd like damage reduction while injured and dexterity for the Paragon system. If dexterity on helmet and armor are omitted, I will be missing some. I got 3 nice rings, 2 with crit chance and damage and 1 pure with damage. With the amulet I am actually satisfied so far, since I need the dexterity anyway. Otherwise, damage reduction would be welcome. For my one-handed weapons I would like to have some more useful aspects, and I think my main weapon would be even better if it had another damage affix instead of strength. But it's hard enough to find good weapons with such high damage. I also have gores lying around, which can create explosions of several million damage, depending on how high you have charged them up previously with the Whirlwind. Here are the statistics. As you can see, the crit damage is very high, and I have a lot of damage affixes that actively work. In practice, the Barbarian regularly whirls over 1 million and more and has an excellent fury budget, despite unbridled rage. After all, the 2 glyphs, the cost reduction on the items and the aspect on the ring take care of that. Thanks to Blood Rage, we also spontaneously fall into Berserker mode very often, so it's easy to go without the ultimate in the key assignment. With this build, I have already completed dungeons in the 60 area, 70 should also be possible soon. I say goodbye at this point, take care and may the loot be with you.
Folgt mir. Danke. Wiedersehen.